Hey, welcome to Half the Battle. You know, July has been quite busy. I mean, 4 reviews in a row, so I needed a bit of a break. That's why today's episode is gonna be quite a bit different to what you're used to. Instead of doing a lot of scripting and editing, I thought I'd just tell you a story. Namely, how I got into G.I. Joe. And I mean all of it, from when I was a small kid in the 80s to when I'm a big kid right now in front of you. So I'd better start at the beginning. The first ever G.I. Joe toys I got were from my grandmother. Unfortunately, I can't quite remember which one they were exactly. I do know that it was either Flint and Footloose together, or the Cobra water moccasin with Copperhead. But these are my earliest memories of G.I. Joe. I'm sure that my grandmother gave me both of these, well, all 3 of them, if you know what I mean. But I honestly can't remember which one came first, the chickens or the egg. It doesn't really matter, I suppose, and you gotta remember I was a really small kid at the time, so you can't blame me for forgetting. Still, the good memories are there. I got some cool toys from my gran. And I was hooked straight away. I mean, these things had great articulation, they were very detailed, and they were sturdy. Of course, I didn't say any of that at the time. Remember, small kid, I just thought, whoa, these are cool toys. And things snowballed from there. Pretty soon I was getting toys left and right. I mean, I had the Dragonfly, the Sky Striker, basically most stuff from the 1985 line that was imported. By the way, if you're wondering why it took me so long to get into G.I. Joe, since Flint is from, 1985 in the US, well, the G.I. Joe toy line actually started with the US 95 line, only it came out here, I want to say a year and a half, 2 years after they had come out in the United States. There were a few older toys in there, like I said, the Dragonfly and the Sky Striker, but those were vehicles. Figures from before 1985, we didn't get them except maybe the Cobra Trooper, I know. But the Cobra Trooper was available for a very long time. So what was the next step in my childhood? Well, as you know, the G.I. Joe toys, well, the vehicles anyway, came with catalogs and stuff. And in those catalogs, in Belgium, was an ad to get a hooded Cobra Commander figure. You could only get it by joining the G.I. Joe club and putting in some star points. We had star points, not flag points. And sending them off. Yeah, the G.I. Joe club is pretty unique to Belgium and Holland, I think. You didn't just send for a mail-away figure, you became part of the club. And they'd send you newsletters and stickers and all of that. And of course, the mail-away toys, if you put in the money and the star points. One of the disadvantages of not having the older toys in Belgium was that the Joes didn't have a headquarters. So I ended up using the tactical battle platform for that. It worked pretty fine until much later when I got the mobile command center, which was a proper, G.I. Joe base. Anyway, we're still at the 1985 line, which, as we've discussed, was 86, 87 here in Belgium, and I had my brand new hooded Cobra Commander. But the man needed troops, didn't he? And troops did he get! Yeah, this may or may not surprise you, but my army building collecting didn't start in adulthood. Even as a kid, I wanted multiple Cobra troops because, they were nameless, faceless Cobra troopers. And I remember having the same conversation with my parents over and over again. You already have that one. Yes, but it's a, trooper. I can have multiple. I think all in all I ended up with like 5 Cobra Troopers, 3 Vipers and 3 Crimson Guards as army builders. Pretty neat! By the way, this love for G.I. Joe, that was all due to the toys, as I hadn't even seen the cartoon yet. That came a little bit later, and the cartoon was a bit disappointing. Don't get me wrong, the cartoon was cool and all, but it started with the mass device. And all of the toys that were advertised, with the exception of the Sky Striker and the Dragonfly, weren't available in Belgium. There was no Duke, there was no Scarlet. There was no Major Blood, because all those were from before 1985. It wasn't until the second miniseries and then the regular show that we'd actually start seeing characters that we could buy. You know, like Flint and Footloose and everybody else. I remember being really disappointed. Well, where's Duke? I can't find Duke in stores. Then later we got Tiger Force Duke, which was meh. Just wasn't the same as the original, you know? The biggest disappointment though, that was seeing those cool Hiss tanks. Even as a kid, I always wanted one and they were not available in Belgium. Well, I kinda made up for that in adulthood, didn't I? I've got Hiss tanks for days. We also never got the Terrordrome, even though it was released in 1986 in the US, so it could have come out in 1988 in Belgium, but they never did bring it over. That was sad. In the end, I ended up with a pretty nice heap of G.I. Joes and of course lots of other toys. But as time went on, well, high school beckoned and my parents said that maybe it was time to put all the toys in the attic and, you know, start growing up, and so I did. And all of my toys stayed in the attic. Except for G.I. Joe. They lasted up there about 3 months when I took them back down because they were just too cool. So at the tender age of, I don't know, I want to say 12, 13, I graduated from being a kid that had toys to a toy collector. The difference was very, very subtle. In fact, the last G.I. Joe toy that my parents bought for me when I was already 11, 12 years old, that was the Crimson Guard Immortal, which was a pretty cool figure to, you know, end on. So high school was there and, you know, I got a little older, started going out, meeting girls, doing stuff not related to toys. But then the internet came around, and in 1997 I discovered the online G.I. Joe community and you know what toy collecting could actually be. And from 97 to, I want to say 2002, that was the golden age for finding old G.I. Joe stuff. I mean, the flea markets were absolutely laden with them. You could get a ton of stuff for pennies on the dollar. Sure, the figures would often not have all their accessories, but they were usually in pretty good shape, and that was that. And there was a ton of stuff that had never come out in Belgium, but there was also a ton of stuff that was exclusive to Europe, so I managed to trade with Americans to get all the stuff that I wanted, and they could get some nice European exclusive stuff. Flash forward to, I don't know, I want to say 2010, 2008, something like that, when video reviewing was becoming popular. You had guys like the Angry Video Game Nerd, Linkara, and all those other people, and I thought, maybe I could do that. Still, I spent a few years just, you know, watching all of them, and then I decided in 2012, yeah, I could do that. So I made my very first video. It sucked. Yes, it's still available on the channel, please don't try to find it. Look, everybody's first videos suck, okay? But I have to say, I got one of the nicest compliments straight off the bat. I was of course advertising my show on all kinds of forums, including the Yo Joe ones, and one of the first comments I got was actually from FormBX, and he said that he wished he could be as funny as me. That was awesome! I mean, this guy was already established as a video reviewer, and he was praising me. That was pretty amazing, and I knew I was on the right track. And I've been doing that ever since. In fact, if you paid attention just a little bit ago and you did the math, then you know that next month will be the 9-year anniversary. I don't really have anything planned for that because 9 is just 9. Next year, the 10th anniversary, oh, that is gonna require some planning, isn't it? I still love collecting, I still love G.I. Joe, and I love doing this show, and I hope will go on for a long, long time. But what about all of you? There's another reason I did this video. I want to hear in the comments how you got into G.I. Joe as kids and how you got into collecting as adults. So leave a comment below and tell everybody else. Well, I'll see you next time everybody when we'll have a proper review. And hey, why not like, share and subscribe if that's your thing.